Hi guys, welcome to 732 Review Crew. I'm Mike.
I'm Mikey.
And today we're watching Frieren against Mikey's will.
No, it's not against my will. So this is actually Mike's favorite show. I bought him a Frieren figure for his birthday, I believe, this year as well. And I've heard him talk about nothing but this show for the last 2 years. I believe he's watched this show 20 times. And he wants me to watch it. Now, I'm an avid anime watcher. I haven't watched a lot of recent things, more like,
Yeah, you're more
2000s to 2000s.
Basically, when you stopped is when I started watching anime beyond like what I saw as a child as Toonami.
Yeah.
And this is the first one that like I became a fan of.
So I like all animes from slice of life to romance to action to any of that stuff. So I'm cool with this. The big thing is now when we do anime reactions, there's something to know. When he picks the anime, it's a dub. When I pick it, it's a sub. This is personal preference, just on how we like it, and
we just lost half our viewers.
Yeah. Well, I respect his, and he respects mine, and hopefully you do too.
No, this should be a good.
Yeah.
This is a good.
This
dub.
is a good dub, and if a show has a bad dub, obviously we're not going to watch a bad dub over a good sub.
100%.
100%. But if shows like example, I watch Cowboy Bebop have that level of dub, it's worth it, especially to hear some of the effort that American voice actors have put in. We do hope you stick around. We do have this on full length on Patreon for free in the comments below. So check it out and join us for it. And Mike is really excited for the show. I'm ready to just go along for the ride. Know nothing about this besides the character design.
It's a masterpiece.
Of the little elf girl. And yeah, ready to watch Mike cry like 3 episodes, in probably, or even one. He's probably gonna cry this one. Ready? Ready to start in 3, 2, 1. We got an intro. I like how it's drawn.
It's no solo leveling intro.
Is there? Yeah, it's kind of like lower energy, but that's what this show is.
Yeah.
Does it have any spoilers in it, like characters?
In terms of no, I think you'll actually be more confused.
I think the song is telling me, because it looks like the song is made for this show. Mike is so happy right now, his leg is bouncing. I like when it picks up with the intro.
I love anime intro music, dude.
The royal capital's in sight.
They're celebrating the triumphant return of their heroes.
Slaying the Demon King was one chapter, but read on. For we've stories yet to tell and lives yet to live.
I hope the way they say budget is by making the dwarf not move his mouth when his beard is so long.
Himmel the hero.
Hennel?
Isaac
Himmel.
the warrior.
Isaac?
Hyter the
Eisen.
priest.
Titan?
And Frieren the mage.
We don't have subs on. I can't see what the names are. If fireworks, it's dope. Chapter 6, the last battle.
Yep.
Is that literally? Are they doing like a drone show?
I doubt they'll be able to capture the complexities of my good looks in a piece of stone. How I pity the poor sculptor.
I would say that makes us even, wouldn't you?
I'm not a corrupt priest.
It's over.
Oh my god, I was right.
The day we departed, Himmel and Eisen's disrespect toward the king landed.
They're literally a D&D party. This is why you like this so much.
One misstep and our journey would have ended there.
We debated leaving you behind when you fell for that mimic,
We repeatedly told her it was a trap, and yet here we are.
It's literally a D&D party. I understand now.
You made this quest the journey of my lifetime. Thank you all.
Cute.
I feel the same way.
Wish shooting star?
The era meteor shower happens once every 50 years. Our era of peace couldn't be welcomed in a more perfect way.
The view from inside the city isn't very good.
I'm trying to have a moment here. Don't spoil the mood.
I know a good place. I'll take us there when the opportunity arises in 50 years.
So it's a plan. 50 years from now.
I intend to travel around the central lands collecting new spells. Well, I'll be sure to
Wizard.
stop by.
The way elves see this world is a mystery.
Who knows how long she's been a part of it by now.
Ooh. But it's very pretty. Oh my god. Girl. Pretty.
You do see that it's exuding some sort of evil aura, don't you? Is that dangerous to people?
I don't know.
How old are they gonna be?
Frieren?
How old?
Himmel, is that...
Wow.
Considering my advanced age, I'm still quite handsome, yes?
100. Oh.
I've thought about that blasted thing every day since you left. My cabinet has been exuding an evil aura.
It's so fucking funny.
But in my eyes, this horn was a treasure entrusted to me by a dear friend for safekeeping. I had to keep it in perfect condition until I could return it to you.
What? What?
It's truly nothing greater than a convenient ingredient.
Oh, she thinks of everything different. Their statue. Oh, that guy aged way better.
You've grown rather dignified, Heiter.
As a bishop of the holy city must.
For our spot is about a week's walk away.
To what have I agreed?
For shame.
Ooh, animation. Let's see. Okay, nice. That's pretty dope. Her new powers that she's learned.
I have lived my life
Well, they're master adventurers.
waiting for the day that we would be together once more.
The retired level 20 adventurers.
Thank you, Frieren. It's solely because of you.
Oh, don't
This
die here.
retired hero could have one final adventure.
It's cute.
It's a dope spot.
It's a real dope spot. Something bad's got to happen
Why do you say that?
because he's gonna die right now. He died happy.
I've yet to even see her frown. How heartless.
Damn. What the
Oh,
fuck?
be fair, ladies. Not like we're racked with grief either.
Show some respect for yourself, you no heart.
10 years with him wasn't nearly enough time to learn.
Oh,
Why didn't I try to better know and understand you? My head is still not for patting.
I'm far too old to swing an axe these days.
oh.
I saw that tree earlier. These woods are always
Lost.
a labyrinth. Where am I?
20 years after the death of Himalaya here on the outskirts. She's been lost for 20 years, wandering.
No,
the
she's
far-
not lost.
A bit lost, ma'am.
Now she's lost.
She's been lost for 20
She
years.
has been lost for 20 years.
What?
The corrupt priest is
The
slow to
eyes are
eye.
crazy.
Turns out a stylish exit is harder to achieve.
How old is he? Psycho doesn't look real, like a human.
You've never seen a purple-haired, purple-eyed background character before?
You've done me much good, so I came here to repay my debts.
Might you take on an apprentice?
Oh,
Forgive me, Heiter, but I must draw a line. She'd only get in my way. We both know how often apprentice mages die in battle.
This was unearthed from the tomb of Avig the Sage. Up for the challenge?
I'll need at least 5 or 6 years.
Do what you can.
he won't be alive.
I
No.
like how she says 5 or 6 years, like, it'll take me 5 to 6 weeks.
That's how long it is.
Do you mind teaching Fern the magic that you see fit? As a priest, I lack the knowledge to further her studies in magery.
Oh.
I can barely detect her presence. Her control over her mana is exceptional.
He had to hide as a baby.
Once I'm able to blast a hole in that rock, I'll be a proper mage.
That's a...
Whoa. Not strong enough.
Do you like magic?
I like it somewhat, I guess.
In that, we're alike.
Okay, I'm gonna watch the credits. So interesting.
It's definitely a unique opening.
Yeah. I liked it. So I have several ideas the way the show could go. One could be she spends time with just like a set group of humans and we learn about them deeply, or it just goes through groups of people that she meets throughout the years because time to her is not-
Something more
yeah.
episodic.
Yeah, where she like hangs out with for 5, maybe 3, 4, 5 episodes with one group of people and then leaves and comes back with like a new group of people. Start off, it definitely is heavily D&D/RPG inspired, which is pretty cool to see, like the heroes and whatnot. This intro is pretty cool. I like the art style of the extra right now, honestly, and how like they did it.
I don't think I've ever actually watched the outro.
This outro is kind of a banger, bro.
It's kind of just a vibe.
Like an acid trip, probably. I don't know what that's like, right? Isn't it? I don't know. I've never had one, but that's what I imagine they look like.
Yep, Mikey, you see fields of flowers and mountains.
Well, it's more the person fading in and out, like in Mandelas and stuff like that, and the birds.
So, like, in terms of this being a first episode, like,
Is it pretty good to establish the premise?
it's starting with the hero's journey being over and them killing the Demon King.
That's
like,
why it's called Journey's End.
yeah.
Yeah, 'cause she's at the end of the hero's journey. The world is safe. There's an era of peace. And what else does she have to do except learn spells? But then when her friend dies, she realizes 10 years with someone isn't enough to learn about them, which is true to an extent, especially when you're
Maybe for an elf.
an elf. She they were so focused on fighting, maybe she didn't learn more deep things, and that could be potentially true. But it's interesting just to see that her as a character just wants to learn about people. And obviously she's like an incredibly mega skilled mage with all these spells under her belt. So that will come into help, with training the character that we just met, as well as fighting and defending people, etc. I imagine she'll join groups of like new venturers or like mid-level adventurers and just be super like, scaled compared to them, and just be able to like support them, but let them have their own growth. And that's how she learns about humans, is through their trials and tribulations. So it'd be pretty cool. Art style's great. Voices, I'm not fully sold on the dub yet, just because I've only seen one episode. Usually subs are for me, so like, it took me a little bit to get used to Frieren's voice because I expected like a little bit higher,
Right.
But that's just because I'm looking at her and expecting a little girl when she's 1,000-year-old, however old elf. I don't know if we'll ever get to know her age, and I kind of hope we never learn how old she truly is, because the mystery of that is pretty cool.
I don't want to do anything spoiler-ish, which is kind of terrible because, like, as I've rewatched this, I've noticed a lot more once I've had like the know to look for things. I will tell you that if this show does a really good job of making every detail very important and epic.
Well, that makes sense because, for example, the priest is corrupt, so like that, there's a reason for him being corrupt, which may come back. Potentially, they wouldn't just bring it up like 5 times for no reason.
Well, it's because he's drinking and like being a degenerate while being a priestly man, a holy man.
And the girl having her mana being able to be hidden, obviously, and she's a war orphan. So my main thought is that her family was killed by mages. That's why she doesn't like to use magic so much. And then mages can detect other mages, so she had to suppress her magic power so that way they couldn't do it. Thus, her being so good. And she has a high level of magic, maybe from the emotional trauma, or just her bloodline of some sort, or maybe something else going on.
And I think that's what really caught me the first time I watched Frieren was the first episode was so different than from like all of what's normally churned out that I kind of was like, I really want to see like what's going on, because it was like the animation's very pretty, and the dialogue is interesting, because rather than being your normal like hero's journey, it's like the hero's journey's over.
Yeah.
And it's like, what do you do afterwards?
Well, the best way I can equate this is we are literally watching, the first episode was literally the last episode of an anime.
Literally.
And now we're in the sequel, which is, where the main characters, if it was like a different anime, the main characters would have gotten married and like,
they'd have a kid. And the kid would be the focus.
Yeah, but we didn't do that. Instead, Frieren went away for 50 years, came back, and I felt like the guy was into her somewhat. But like,
Himmel?
Yeah.
The hero?
Yeah, Himmel. But like, Himmel died, and she was sad about it. I love how like close as a group they were, because she wasn't crying due to her not understanding like death in that way, potentially not processing it, because elf. But I like how the group backed her up and was like, and got food and stuff. There's gonna be some things that I feel like come back, and I can't really figure out what specifically would come back so far, besides the fact that there's a girl with powers. Now there's a potential that if we do that idea of episodics with time jumps, that some people who were part of our party could come back in like the future as older characters that are more wise or evil. For example, if we train this girl and leave her for 50 years, and there's no saying that this girl comes back and she's the main villain for like a mini arc, which would be a cool way to do the series. But I feel like this series is going to put a emphasis on character development and dialogue, and not as much emphasis on fights. There will be fights, but the main emphasis will be on growth and not the fighting, but the journey. Thus the title, Frieren Journey.
So there's obviously they're going to introduce more stuff throughout it because the show.
Yeah.
But for things to like look out for, they've kind of gone over the important ones in the first episode.
Yeah.
It's like what you process and like pick up on, because it's the first episode. You don't know what's like a throwaway detail that might be relevant
like
for an episode,
for example,
or what.
There's pictures in the grimoire that are probably going to come back to be relevant. For example, there was like a bunch of like cyphals and stuff in there, and then there was pictures of like, for example, a woman doing something and things like that. And those things are probably going to come back to be relevant, because there's a chance it could be a fortune or like some sort of like a prediction.
It's so rare that I get to be on the I've seen this side of the table.
So you're like,
I just like thinking back to what I thought when I was watching it for the first time.
So and like part of it too is there's immortality spells and like stuff like that. So that type of stuff can be highly sought after, or have opposite negative content, not negative consequences. Like you have to sacrifice a whole nation to do it. a la like, other stuff. So it'll be really cool to see what happens with that, and who joins the cast and crew and who goes through. Curious to see how it'll go with that, because this is a show right now I can't predict the way it's going, because it's not like we have like.
Have you been spoiled on anything with the show?
No, I don't know anything. Anything like recently the past like 5 years that's come out, I've like explicitly avoided, just in case I wanted to watch it with a reaction channel of my own, on like like YouTube that I've like was watching.
Yeah.
And obviously a bunch of channels I've known watch this, and like Spy X Family, Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and stuff like that. But I just never saw it because I thought if I ever got bored, I had it in the
reserve. That makes sense.
It's fun to have. I can't wait because I enjoy these things.
I think by episode 3 you'll be able to make a decision on like which way you're leaning on this.
I think the big thing too is there's zero shipping for me in this show for Frieren, because she's a 1,000-year-old elf and doesn't feel like she's gonna have like an emotional relationship.
I'm sure you'll ship someone at some point.
Not with her, no, because she also looks like a little girl, so I can't do that. Even though she's a 1,000-year-old elf.
God.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm cool. Wrap this up. So I can't wait to find out what's happening. Thank you for joining us. I am Mikey.
And I'm Mike.
And this was for episode 1. This is Mike's pick. We are getting ready for season 2 next year by watching this. We'll be doing one of these a week for now. And if it picks up a lot of hype, maybe we'll do 2 a week, which Mike will be really happy about, because he's been asking for this for so long. Check out Patreon for full into this for free. If you enjoy it, you can support us on Patreon, on YouTube. Description on YouTube, just like subscribing to the channel helps a lot if you're new to us, because we like anime. We're going to be trying to get into it soon a lot more, and we want to see how many people like anime with us. So thank you.
Toodaloo.
Bye.